Welcome everyone to Influential Leadership Tips. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm John Hadley. Dave, what I wanted to talk today a little bit about is respect. I read a quote by Jeffrey Katzenberg, and one of the things that he said, he's a Hollywood executive, said that if there's leadership, it means there are followers. And you're only as good as the followers. Okay, that sounds pretty straightforward. Said, I believe the quality of the followers is in direct correlation to the respect you hold them in. It's not how much they respect you that's most important. It's actually how much you respect them. It's everything. And that really struck me. How do you show the people who work for you that you respect them? What can you do to actively do that, to make sure you're really, talking the talk and walking the walk here, and not just giving it lip service? And what might that do to your operation? So what do you think? What are ways that you could show the people in your operation that you respect them?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I'm thinking, how do I like to receive respect? And everybody's probably a little different on this, but I like when someone is curious about my ideas and my thoughts about something. So I think one way is to ask them, hey, what do you think? Or how would you approach this? And it's a way to coach them too, right? To get them thinking for themselves rather than just having them be order takers.
Yeah, absolutely. We as leaders or managers, we kind of often get into the trap that we're busy and, okay, let me tell you my ideas first, or let's get quickly to the answer, instead of, let's really listen to you and what you have to say. And sometimes I may think I have all the answers. I may think I have the best approach, but you have some great ideas that I'm kind of choking off if I don't take the time to listen to that.
Yeah, and I think common courtesy. I mean, I've seen people who have, when they're dealing with senior people, treat them with respect. They would never be late for a meeting. They would always over communicate in terms of anything that needs to be said. But with their direct reports, they kind of treat them like servants.
Mm-hmm.
And just common courtesy, like if they're not going to they're going to be late for a meeting or whatever, letting them know. Or it's kind of like, just because someone's in a different position in the company, why would you treat them differently in terms of their humanity, right? So it seems like that would be obvious, but there are a lot of people that seem to pay attention to those levels and show different levels of respect.
Yeah, well, it's almost like you assume it's okay because it's my team. They'll understand if I'm late, and they will. But if you do it once in a great while, they will. If you do it regularly, it starts to be as a sign that you don't treat them as respectfully as you do others.
You don't respect their time. And I think, one way is are you willing to apologize if the situation warrants? Would you apologize to someone as a direct report? Are you vulnerable in appropriate ways to them in terms of admitting weaknesses and things like that? I think a way to show leadership is to be super authentic, right? So, and that's also a way that someone has respect for you,
Yep.
So,
another thing I think of is, what do you do in other meetings? Maybe when your team isn't even there. It's one thing we all say, okay, we should give credit to the people on our team, which is great. And when I'm in front of you giving you credit, you feel good. But do I also make a strong point of giving you credit when I'm talking to senior management or other places when you're not even around to hear it? That has a lot to do with them. Am I really being authentic? Am I really looking for the ways to promote you and what you've done? And that gets back to people in other ways. Do I always make a point of, if there's something that you've been involved in, that you've contributed to, do I bring you to the meetings? Do I make sure that you get a chance to see, even if maybe you're not going to participate that much, but you get a chance to see how this is presented and have that possibility of participating.
Yeah, those are great examples. I mean, no one likes to feel used, right? It's like, I'm not here just to make you look good, you know. I mean, people appreciate leaders that are invested in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and as we talk about this, you know, the term that's coming to my mind is servant leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that you're beholden to your direct reports or anything like that, but it just means that you're there as a servant leader. What does that mean? You know, it's a big question. I think it's one that is worthwhile for people to ponder, to reflect on. And there's some good books out there on servant leadership too that I would recommend. I think one's called The Servant, I believe. I'd have to look up who that is. When we do the video, I'll put the caption underneath us so people can see who that's by. So
yeah, and for any actuaries who are listening, in the Stepping Stone, the Leadership and Development section newsletter, we had a great series of articles on servant leadership not too long ago. So check those out go to soa.org/LD for leadership development, and you can find the recent issues or drop me a note. So I guess the homework I'd have for people is give this some thought. Think about, what ways am I showing my group, my people, that I respect them? What more things could I do? And also, what could I do to kind of test this out and see if people are feeling that? You know, maybe it's a 360-degree feedback mechanism, or maybe there have been things that have already been done, but if I read them and I read them carefully in a different way, I might get some good insight into whether I'm coming through as authentically as I intend.
it's great stuff, John.
So look forward to talking to you all next week.
And until then, be influential.